Hello class, it's Mr. Wicklehouse, and today we are talking about three variable equations. So we're solving a system of equations with three variables. Alright, so here's something to remember. One of the most important things to remember when you are working with systems of equations is that the number of different variables that you have must match the number of equations that you have in order to solve for those variables. For instance, if you have three different variables, so like say x, y, and z, then you need to have three different equations in order to solve for those variables. So now just for a second, think about this. If you have 6 different variables, how many equations do you have to have? That's right, 6 different equations. We're not going to do anything with 6 variables in it, but this is important to remember, especially when you're solving real world problems or thinking about things outside of school. Then if you have 3 different things, then you need 3 different equations to solve for those things. Okay? Just something little bit of information for you. Alright, so as hard as this is going to get is going to be solving for 3 variable systems, and here's the steps that we need to go through to solve for those systems. So get these steps down and then I'll go through some examples. So step number 1 is to set up 2 of the equations for the elimination method. So you're going to do take 2 of the equations out of the 3, and then you're going to eliminate one of the variables with that. So that's step 2, eliminate one of the variables from step 1. Okay. Step 3 is you take the third equation that you didn't use in step 1, and then pick one of the 2 equations that you used in step 1 and set that one up with that third equation, and then you're going to do elimination again. So you take that third equation and then one of the other 2 equations and you eliminate the same variable. You want to eliminate the same variable that you did in step 2. So say for instance you eliminated y in step 2, then you need to eliminate y in step 4. Okay? Alright. After you do that, then you have 2 new equations that you're going to have here, and you're going to use those 2 equations together. So you have two variable equations, and then you're going to be able to eliminate the second variable out of those 2. So if you eliminated y here and y here, then you're going to pick x or z in this one, and you're going to eliminate one of those 2. Okay. Then finally, after you have one of your equation or one of your variables solved for, you're going to be able to use substitution in order to find the last couple variables. Okay. Alright. That being said, let's look at an example. Get these steps down. Pause the video if you need to get these all written down, and then watch the rest to go through an example for doing this. Okay? So here's the example. So here we have our 3 equations with 3 variables. So remember, 3 variables means I need to have 3 equations to solve for it. So I've got an x, y, and z in each one of these. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 of these to do elimination on in order to get another equation. So the ones that I've picked, because I see that this has a positive 3y in it and this has a negative 3y in it, I'm going to start off easy and just set those up and eliminate the y's. Okay. So I'm solving these using elimination. The y goes away when I add these together. and I'm adding straight down. So I got negative 6x, negative 3x, that's negative 9x, and then 5z minus z is 4z. Negative 3 minus 15 added together is negative 18. Okay? So there's one of my equations after I've used elimination once. So there's my new equation number 1. Okay? Now I'm going to use the equation that I didn't use. So I used these two, so I'm picking this one. Negative 6x plus 4y minus 4z equals 0. And then I'm picking one of these two to use in order to do elimination again. Since I eliminated y in this one, I have to eliminate the y in this one. Okay. In order to do that, I'm picking the number 12 to eliminate here. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3 and this one by negative 4 because I want it to be 12 but opposite signs. Okay. Alright. So 3 times negative 6. Sorry, I'm doing negative 3 here. And I am going to do positive 4 here. Okay. So I do negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. So I distributed that one through and got this equation. Now I'm doing a positive 4 here. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Okay. Add down, I get negative 6. This goes away. 12 times 20, or 12 plus 20 is 32. Here times negative 12 is negative 12. There is my equation number 2. Okay. So we're about halfway there now. We've got steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. So let's move on to step 5. So I take my equation 1 and my equation 2. So here's equation number 1. Here's equation number 2. And I am going to eliminate one of the variables in that. Now what I did is I looked and saw here's a 4, here's 32. 32 is a multiple of 4. So I'm going to multiply this one so that this is going to be negative 32. So I take negative 8 and multiply it by this equation. Negative 8 times negative 9 is 72. Negative 8 times positive 4 is negative 32. Negative 8 times negative 18 is 144. Okay. Then I bring this one down because I'm eliminating the z. I add these together. 72 minus 6 is 66. Negative 32 plus 32 is 0. 144 minus 12 is 132. I get 66x equals 132. I'm going to divide by 66. 66 times 2 is 132, so x equals 2. Okay? So now I've managed to solve for one of my variables. And that's the key. After I solve for one of the variables, I can take this variable, the solution of this variable, and plug it into one of these two equations. It does not matter which one you pick. So I'm going to pick this one, plug the 2 in. I get negative 18 plus 4z equals negative 18. Add 18 both sides. Divide by 4. I get z equals 0. Okay. Now I know that z equals 0. And I know that x equals 2. So I'm going to take the 0 and the 2 and pick one of the equations that I had previously from back here. I'm going to pick this first one, not for any particular reason, it's just the one I picked. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You pick this one, or this one, doesn't matter. And I'm going to substitute what I know in. I know x is 2 and z is 0, so I plug those in. I get negative 2 plus 4y. Negative 4 times 0 is 0, so that went away. Negative 12 plus 4y equals 0. Add 12 to both sides, I get 4y equals 12. Divide by 4, I get y equals 3. Okay? And that, guys, is how we solve 3-variable systems of equations. Okay? Quite a lot of steps. You might want to watch this video again just to double check, make sure you have an idea what's going on. The best bet, though, is going to be practice. Practice, practice, practice. Alright? If you have any questions, just come see me. I'll talk to you later.